is Jenny, and you might have read a few of my blogs on the Gutsy Generation blog, but we're doing this video blog so that you can see us and have more of an idea of who we are as people, in addition to just what we write on the blog. A little bit about me in the context of the CCFC and the Gutsy Generation. I've been involved with the CCFC for about 9 years now, and I've been on the Youth Advisory Council, which runs the Gutsy Generation, since 2007, so that was when it was created. And since then, we've done a lot, and I say I'll stay on until they kick me off or until I get too old. But we founded the Gutsy Generation so that we could have a community of youth with IBD, because as we all know, there's so many youth that live with IBD, and there aren't a lot of resources for us for support and to build a community. So that's what the Gutsy Generation is meant for. I was diagnosed with Crohn's when I was 12 years old, and I'm 20. I'll be 21 in about a month. When I first started having symptoms, and I was in the 6th grade, and I remember having like really, really terrible intestinal pain, and I would feel like I had to go to the bathroom so badly, and by the time I was excused from class and said the bathroom, I didn't have to go anymore, but it still really hurt, and then there was a lot of blood, and eventually I was diagnosed with Crohn's after colonoscopy. And the diagnosis was a complete shock to myself and my family. We didn't know anybody else who had Crohn's. There's no family history. And we had no idea what it meant, like a lot of people. We were completely ignorant to bowel disease. And so I was in terrible, terrible denial. I would sit and I would wait by the phone, waiting for the GI to call so that he'd misdiagnose me. I didn't understand what Crohn's was. I didn't want to identify with being sick. So in that time since then, it'll be 9 years in September that I've been diagnosed with IBD. In the time, I've been on every medication possible, and really my Crohn's is very unresponsive, so I didn't respond to any of the medications for any lasting period of time. And in the summer of 2010, I chose to have permanent ileostomy surgery, so they removed my entire large intestine, and so I have a permanent ileostomy. And I think the ostomy is great. For me, it was a wonderful decision. It allowed me to get back to school, to be active, to do everything that I wanted to do, and you really don't notice it at all. And to prove that, you kind of need to see it. A lot of people, when I tell them that I have an ostomy, the first thing they say is like, oh, I would never have known. And that's the whole point. You wouldn't know. There's no reason to know. I'm very open about my ostomy, about my Crohn's, but the average person doesn't need to know that you have IBD. They can't tell. Even though you know walking on the street that you have IBD, no one looking at you knows that. It's only if you choose to share that with someone else, and that's your choice, whether or not you're going to share that with everybody, just your friends, just your family. That's your choice, and you should never feel like you need to disclose to people just for the sake of disclosing, because who you are is who you make yourself, and it's not the disease you have or the circumstances that you've been dealt, but what you decide to do about it. So, this is what I wore to work today. I'm just in a pair of skinny jeans and a t-shirt, and you can see at the very top, here's my ostomy, but from the side, you can't see anything, just to prove that that's really there. And then you can see just the little ostomy bag here. Maybe you can see some scars, but that's all it is. And it's something that's private, something that no one else needs to know about, but something that for me was a really great choice, and allowed me to do everything that I wanted to do. So you may have noticed in the last few seconds I've changed clothes. I am clearly not that good with technology, and my sister was editing this and realized that something that I videotaped didn't come through. So I'm trying again. My side of the Gutsy Generation. So still within the realm of IBD, I recently went to Peru, and it was for a Crohn's awareness trip. So obviously to raise awareness about inflammatory bowel disease and about ostomies, and to prove that who live with IBD and live with ostomies for any reason can still do whatever they'd like, especially active things. So the trip was through IDEAS, which is the Intestinal Disease Education and Awareness Society, and that's run by Rob Hill out West, and he's fantastic. He has done absolutely anything a person who has IBD would want to do, but moreover anything that a normal person would want to do. Any kind of bucket list item he's done, and it's fabulous. So beyond that, you can tell from my attire, I was just out for a run, and so I like to run. I just did a mini triathlon a few weekends ago, and that was really fun to be a part of a race. And so I bike and I swim, and I do all that with really no problem whatsoever from my ostomy. I'm running a half marathon in October, so that will be an adventure. We'll see if I can finish and not have an asthma attack. I'm going to be a senior at Boston University in the fall, and I absolutely love it there. I'm really glad that I went away to school. It was always a dream of mine, so I'm happy that I was able to do that, even though I was quite sick at times. But my professors have been really, really understanding, and I have wonderful friends there, and that's made all the difference in the world. I'm studying psychology, and I'm an English minor, and I'm a psychologist and work with chronic illnesses, particularly autoimmune illnesses like IBD. Because I think that there's a lot that we can do to promote resilience and self-esteem and self-efficacy amongst these kids so that they can do whatever they want in life and don't feel limited by their disease and have that passion and insight about who they are as people from the get-go and don't have to experience, years and years of being sick in order to come to that conclusion. Beyond that, I love music, I love TV shows. My favorite TV shows are Grey's Anatomy and Criminal Minds. Anything slightly medical or psychological, I just love. Beyond that, I love to make jewelry and scrapbook, anything kind of artsy. I love working with children. I work in a preschool back in Boston, and they're so cute. It's great to work with young people that are optimistic and very hopeful and honest. They're always very honest. Other than that, I think I'm pretty much just a normal 20-year-old girl. So part of the reason that a community of gutsy individuals is so important to me is because so many people that are really important in my life I met through some sort of Crohn's organization. And they're just people that understand a part of you that you can't translate and you can't really put into words. And they just understand it. They just have an intimate understanding of the struggles that you've been through, the pain that you've experienced, and the triumph that you feel at times. So that's really a big deal for me and something that I really want to be able to provide for other people. So I hope that this is in some way a community of gutsy youth for anybody who's directly or indirectly affected by inflammatory bowel disease. As always, we'd love to hear your questions and your comments, your concerns. If there's a certain organization you want featured or a person you want highlighted, please let us know. We're more than happy to feature other people. The blog and the whole Gusty generation is designed to be a platform for gutsy youth. So we really want to show, everybody that's gutsy all over the world so that we can all appreciate the work everyone's doing to contribute to raising awareness and advocacy and ultimately finding a cure. So sometimes, you feel sick and you feel helpless. But there are better times. And there are people there that want to help you. And I hope that this serves in part as encouragement and inspiration that there are others willing to listen. So in closing, I wish I had some really cool sign-off line to share with you, to say that was really witty, but unfortunately I don't. But I wanted to share with you something that a friend of mine who has IBD and an ostomy says to me, that you have the right to a beautiful life. You have a right to a life that's filled with as many enriching things as possible and everything that you've ever dreamt of. And I would hate for you to lose perspective on that because it's true and you deserve it. And you have friends and family and doctors and nurses and people online that are rooting for you and in your corner. So we're in the stands and we're cheering you on, and we can't wait to see what gutsy things you do.